All right, Flash memoir. First off, like, what is Flash? There's a lot of definitions of it. Some people think of it as like 100 words or less, or 50 words or less, and that is Flash. But generally, it's accepted that really anything less than 1,000 words is Flash. If you go by what brevity, who are really kind of like the not kind of, they are the premier Flash publisher of Flash nonfiction and fiction in the world. Their answer is 750 words, and so I kind of go with about 750 words and keep it to that. What is the power of Flash? Like, how does it differ from, long form prose memoir? Well, quite frankly, I mean, there's a lot of differences besides besides the length. Because it is so compressed, you have to pack so much meaning into each sentence. So a sentence has to do double, triple, actually sometimes like quadruple duty in packing in the meaning. But they also have to be short. They have to, it has to be quick, right? Oftentimes flashes leave you with an image, a lasting image or a memory, right? And so this is how it works, right? And it's really a hybrid model, like a blend between poetry and prose, right? You need to eliminate as many words as you can and choose words that are vivid, that are powerful, and provide a unique experience for the reader. So, I mean, here's an instance that this is it from Brevity Magazine, actually, in fact. So here's a long version of something and a compressed version. So the long version is: my mother walked quickly into the room, and she sure seemed angry about something. She didn't normally enter my bedroom when the door was closed. It was morning, and I figured it had to do with my sneaking in so late the night before, and her wanting to know where I had been. She stood real close to me with a furious look on her face, and made her suspicions of me entirely clear. She was holding a towel from the kitchen. So there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that, right? But perhaps you want to compress it. Perhaps you want to turn it into Flash. Now, why would you want to do that? Like, why would somebody want to write in Flash even, right? We'll talk about that in a little bit. But here is the compressed version. Mom charged in, ignoring the closed bedroom door. Stood so close I could feel the heat coming off her body, could smell her morning coffee. Where on God's earth were you last night? She demanded, twisting a dish towel in her reddened hands. Right? I mean, you can see it, especially in that last line. Where on God's earth were you last night? She demanded, twisting a dish towel in her reddened hands. If you compare that to, she stood real close to me with a furious look on her face and made her suspicions of me entirely clear, right? She made her suspicions of me entirely clear. Well, how did she make them entirely clear? Where on God's earth were you last night? She was holding a towel from the kitchen, twisting a dish towel in her reddened hands. The difference is palpable, right? One is embodied, one is showing imagery at every level and showing at every level, and the other one is showing, but also does a bit of telling. So if you want to pack your pieces full of punch, consider Flash. The other thing is this, right? And this is, from my perspective, and people don't always agree with this, so take it for what it's worth. Memory works. We remember in moments. We tell ourselves stories, and we tell stories, narratives, to make sense of the moments, and we string them together, right? But actual memory doesn't happen in story. It happens in flashes. We have a flash of grandma's apple pie. We have a flash of our car accident. We have a flash of that man beating me. Whatever it is, we have a flash of it, right? And then it's the story that we tell ourselves after. When considering using Flash as your modus operandi for writing a memoir, it's all about the moments. You're stringing together moments, right, that make up a story, essentially, right? So, and we don't even need the full picture of the story. We might just need that moment to get an impact on how that moment was impactful for you, right? Just think of it, the difference as it doesn't tell the whole story, but it paints a full picture of a moment, and it blows it up, not blows it up, but it expands it and makes that moment impactful and powerful for the reader, right? And it's impactful and powerful for the writer as well, because as I talked about my show and tell lecture, in order to make those moments, in order to write Flash, in essence, right, we have to really dive deep, right, in order to say things like twisting a dish towel in our red hands. In order to say something like that, if it's about us especially, we really have to investigate how that made us feel, how things made us feel, how that moment made us feel, like what were we feeling at the time, like what we're thinking is always really easy or relatively easy because it's part of that story, but it's that image that's powerful. That's what really captures readers, and it's what causes causes us as writers to really recognize the power of our own stories and really recognize the power of our own moments within those stories. How this moment, what role did this moment play in transforming my life? Right? Okay, food for thought. I love Flash. It's one of my favorite ways of writing because it does stand on the border of poetry and prose, and it requires deep amounts of reflection for the writer, and can really provide a wellspring of emotions for the reader.